This massive cloud formation rising over southwestern France looks like a standard storm, but it was generated entirely by the intense heat of a record-breaking wildfire season. Thousands of miles away, the American Northeast is facing the opposite extreme. Torrential rain is swallowing neighborhoods, forcing high-water rescue teams to pull families from rising floods right outside their front doors. In southwestern Japan, the situation is even more complex. Survivors of a magnitude 7.1 earthquake are now huddled in shelters, battling a sweltering summer heat wave with limited access to power or water. We are tracking a genuinely demanding set of overlapping global crises right now. If you want to understand how these events are unfolding in real time, take a second to hit subscribe. Analyzing these disasters as isolated local events ignores the immediate danger. These simultaneous extremes are overlapping and initiating a chain reaction. This chain reaction is systematically pushing our critical global infrastructure past its physical breaking point. Looking at the United States, an unusually active pattern has put more than 100 million Americans in the path of significant storms this week. This system has delivered destructive winds in flash flooding across the Northeast, while earlier an EF3 tornado flattened homes in Wisconsin with winds reaching 145 miles an hour. Simultaneously, a persistent heat dome is gripping the South and the desert Southwest, where cities like Phoenix and Las Vegas are challenging the 120-degree mark. This satellite view shows massive smoke plumes from wildfires stretching across California, Oregon, and Nevada. Compounding this, smoke from hundreds of Canadian fires is drifting south, traveling to the East Coast and degrading the air quality for millions. With the New York City skyline choked by this severe orange haze, populations already trapped by flooding or extreme heat are facing hazardous air. There is no safe zone for relief. Across the Atlantic, Europe is battling its own extremes. Hundreds of thousands of people have been evacuated in France and Spain as a historic wildfire season scorched tens of thousands of hectares. But the heat and drought have triggered a systemic crisis beyond the fires, the dramatic shrinking of the Danube River across Central Europe. Water levels have dropped so low that long-sunken shipwrecks from the Second World War are now fully exposed, halting international cargo and cruise navigation. This drought is also crippling energy production. Nuclear plants in Hungary and Romania rely on cooling water intakes, the pipes that pull river water in to prevent the reactors from overheating. Because the river has receded so dramatically, these nuclear facilities can no longer reliably reach the water they need. Several reactors have already been forced to reduce their output or shut down entirely. We are watching a natural drought directly force a man-made failure of the energy grid and regional supply chains. We see this compounding effect acting as a threat multiplier in Japan, where communities are struggling to recover from a powerful magnitude 7.1 earthquake. The quake destroyed homes, shopping malls, and factories, leaving tens of thousands of households without power or running water. Now, a sweltering 40-degree heat wave is hitting that same disaster zone. Without power for air conditioning or reliable access to water, displaced survivors, particularly the elderly, are now facing a high-risk heat stroke crisis while they shelter in vehicles and evacuation centers. These relentless patterns are battering the southern hemisphere as well. In South Africa, violent coastal flooding has triggered road damage and forced fresh displacement in local communities. Overlapping disasters strip away power, water, and shelter precisely when survivors need those resources most. Look at the global map: flooded American neighborhoods, stranded European river vessels, and sweltering Japanese earthquake shelters. Our power grids, our rescue protocols, and shipping routes were engineered for a climate where disasters happened in isolation. Our infrastructure is struggling because it physically cannot handle the math of simultaneous, multi-front extremes. Heat waves following earthquakes and droughts crippling power plants represent a permanent environmental shift, the new baseline we must now build for. We'll continue tracking these developments as they evolve. Stay safe and subscribe for ongoing updates as we monitor this changing global map.